Welcome to the Ruby Dungeon, a series teaching how to code Ruby scripts that can be run with the Lich program. Before we start refactoring Jfloo, the Alenthea Online team have released a new Lich version, 5.11. If you plan to upgrade, back up your Lich folder and settings first before doing anything. You can check your current version of Lich by typing ;version. If you're running 5.5, 4, or an older version, you should back up and install fresh using the latest installer to a new directory. The Ruby Dungeon Episode 2 will walk you through that backup and full install process if needed. If your Lich version is at least 5.6 or higher, you can upgrade from in-game using these steps. Only log in one character, then type this command, ;Lich 5-update --library equals update.rb. Quit out of the game and log back in on that character. Then type this command, ;Lich 5-update --update. After doing so, you should get a message that says Lich 5 has been updated to Lich 5 version 5.11. Quit out of the game again, then log back in on that character. Use ;version to confirm you're now at Lich version 5.11. Previous Lich versions supported the use of goto and labels that are used in the CMD-style scripting language supported by the official client, as covered in the CMD Scripting No Lich Required Part 2 episode. Starting in Lich 5.11, goto and labels are no longer supported, so if you try to run a script using those labels, it will usually just exit. One such example is one of my original scripts, Jfloo. So let's refactor it so it works with the latest Lich builds. I start out by going through the script and writing an outline of what it currently does, along with what changes I want to make in the new version. I have heading information using =begin and =end. This shows up when using the repos info script name command. I commented out the silence_me command and have two local variables defined. From there, I have all my proc commands. The room check proc has a goto action round. I have a use pass proc, Jfloo free proc, bank round proc, action round proc, and location proc. The script will start executing code after the procs, and it begins with a hand check, then checks for birthing sands, goes to the nearest chronomage, determines where you're at based on the room number, and then goes through the action round code. In the new version, I want to remove the goto and labels, refactor the whole script into a module format, change echo to respond, add orange output messaging, and add support for silvers carried in pocket. Using that Lich scripting reference page, I know there's a command called lich_util silver count that shows what coins are in your character's pockets. So I would create a local variable, set the value of that to the lich command, add debugging to verify it captured the right amount, and then do a check against that number. If it's over 5,000, no need to go to the bank, but any other condition requires you to go get silver. Since we're moving to a module format, I'm going to define unique global variables that can be used everywhere in the script, regardless of scope. But as a precaution, I'm adding a before_dying section that will change those global variables to nil when the script exits. I'll call the module Jfloo_toolkit and use the def self.style, then add in all the various code blocks from the original script. Once that's done, I'll go through and replace echo with respond, update the orange output messaging, change the goto and labels into toolkit commands instead, and add in logic for the silver in pocket check. The final addition to the toolkit will be self.flu_network, which will call the other code blocks as needed. We can put in a mapped room check there, and then call flu_network at the start of the script. The last step is testing the script in various places around the world based on routing logic. There is an outstanding bug with the mapdb in Solhaven where the daypass features in goto get stuck in an endless loop under certain conditions. Logging out and back in fixes it, or you can just type the long command shown on screen. In an effort to avoid anyone having to do that for my scripts, I'll just add in room 1314 and 475 as anchor points when traveling from Solhaven before reaching the chronomage and landing. This should bypass the daypass system regardless of a user's settings. If you upgraded your Lich and want to try out the new Jfloo code, just use ;repos download Jfloo, available now on the repository. Next time on the Ruby Dungeon, we're adding creatures and zones to Polar Bear. Until then.